What a game. The games this weekend. My God. You know, this has been introduced with like a Steph Curry throw it incomplete to Devontae Adams. Wow. I mean, that's all I can say is wow. Yo, what is going on, guys? Back for the Love of Sports podcast. And today we're going to be talking NBA trade deadline. Unreal. Awesome stuff today. I was wondering the last couple days, I was like, damn, this trade deadline is very slow. But today, man, it popped off in a big way. So many teams getting way better. So many teams getting so much worse. It's just shocking to me that all this, happened today. And, the big winners and big losers is what we're going to be discussing today on this segment. And, I think biggest winners of today are three teams. I have them listed in order. I think number one, the Chicago Bulls got better. I think they got the best player in all of, not the trade deadline. I think by far they got the best player. Nikola Vucevic is going from the Orlando Magic to the Chicago Bulls. And I honestly don't think they gave a whole lot for him. Some people could say, they gave Wendell Carter Jr., they gave Otto Porter. Otto Porter doesn't matter. He's going to get bought out. The 2 first-round picks are kind of intriguing in my opinion, but they didn't even give up Levine and Marketing. And, look at them now. The Bulls are headed probably towards close to a playoff berth. And I think Vucevic is going to pair greatly with Zach LaVine. I think that's a phenomenal setting for him to be in. And finally, he goes to a team that isn't complete absolute shit. I mean, the Orlando Magic have been hovering the last couple of years, 8 to 10 seed, but they haven't improved, and this is why they traded literally everybody today. They traded Aaron Gordon, they traded Vucevic, and they traded Evan Fournier, as well as Al-Farouq Amino and Gary Clark. They literally unloaded. The biggest losers of today, obviously, have got to be the Orlando Magic. I mean, they are pathetic. I mean, I don't even know how they're going to play with the team they have. The team is terrible. I mean, they literally got almost nobody for these guys, and it's shocking. They traded Evan Fournier to the Celtics for a second-rounder, 2 second-round picks. Like, who gives a shit? Evan Fournier is much better than that. He's literally a top 30 scorer this year, if not higher. He's averaging almost 20 points a game. I don't think Boston did great. I think getting Fournier is decent, but for them to only get 2 first-round picks for him, and then, the Vucevic trade, it's pretty much Wendell Carter and 2 first-rounders. Do you think Wendell Carter and 2 first-round picks are comparable to Nikola Vucevic? I'd like to say no. He's an all-star center. He's averaging like 24 and 12. He's only 30 years old. I think the Bulls made out like bandits. I expect them to do a lot better. I also think the Denver Nuggets got a lot better. They got Aaron Gordon. A little bit of a weird spot for him to go. They're loaded, in that power forward spot already. They got Jokic over there. They got Michael Porter Jr. They have a lot of guys over there, a lot of mouths to feed in Denver. But I think it was an overall good setting for him. It's a good change of heart for him. He clearly wanted to go to a winning team, and he's definitely going to one. They gave up decent, R.J. Hampton, Gary Harris, I believe. I'm looking to exactly see. Yeah, Gary Harris and pretty much R.J. Hampton were the big things. But other than that, they got Aaron Gordon, and they also got JaVale McGee from the Cavaliers, which I thought was actually a bigger addition than people think. I think McGee's a pretty good backup center, in my opinion. I think he's pretty good. I think he can get the job done. He can block shots. He can run the floor. He can score. He can rebound. JaVale McGee's not that bad. He's pretty legit, in my opinion. So, 2 biggest winners, in my opinion, are for sure the Chicago Bulls. Number 1, because Vucevic, they got the best player. Number 2, I gotta go with the Denver Nuggets, just because they got Gordon, who I think was the second best player. Portland Trail Blazers is a little weird. They traded for Norman Powell from the Toronto Raptors, who's been honestly going off. He's honestly legit. Powell has potential to be really good. They gave up some good players, though. They gave up Gary Trent Jr., who I thought was actually a pretty good player. He's a good scorer. He's a good three-point shooter. He's been pretty good for them since he's been there. I think he's only in his second season. The Miami Heat, I thought, made out like bandits. I mean, unreal. They got Victor Oladipo. They only gave up, barely anything. They gave up Kelly Olynyk, which is a, decent. He was a decent rotational guy for the Heat. He started a lot of the games, but he's not a great player by any means. They upgraded big time with Oladipo. Oladipo, I think, is very good. And now it looks like they're also going to get LaMarcus Aldridge on a buyout from the Spurs. That team is going to be freaking loaded, dude. Like, legit. They didn't even trade none, Harrow, nothing, and they got Oladipo. I couldn't believe it. I thought they were going to unload Dragic, possibly Harrow for, like, Lowry or something. That didn't happen. And then they got Oladipo for almost nothing. I mean, my God. Their starting lineup is going to be what? Kendrick Nunn or Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, freaking Oladipo, Siakam. I mean, that team is – I mean, not Siakam. Oh, my God. Bam Adebayo, that team is loaded, in my opinion. Bam Adebayo, and then you still got Tyler Herro and all these other players, Duncan Robinson. I mean, that lineup is stacked. They legitimately have like a 1 through 8 lineup. Like I just mentioned, Herro, Dragic, Kendrick Nunn, Bam Adebayo, Oladipo now. I mean, my God. So the Heat also made out like bandits, big time. I think the Lakers are probably going to get Andre Drummond in a buyout. I think he's going to go to the Nets or the Lakers. I'm hoping the Lakers. I don't want to see the Nets get any better. If they get Drummond, you might as well just stop playing. I mean, what the hell? If they go with Andre Drummond, too, on top of who they already have, the Nets are just, I mean, why even play? Why bother even having a playoff series? It's 4-0 automatically. Almost every team. The Lakers will get blown out 4-0. It's just, he has to go to the Lakers for them to even be a competitive finals this year. If Drummond goes to the Lakers and Anthony Davis gets healthy, as well as LeBron James, they're going to be very good. But, it's a big if these guys get healthy and when, because, they're out for a couple weeks more at least, and, they're going to need someone to pick up the pieces there. Losers today, I thought the Celtics, again, are losers. They just, I've never seen a team, get so close, every trade free, deadline. Every single trade deadline, the Boston Celtics are literally rumored to get everybody. Everyone is on their list. It's like this. Oh, I've never seen anything like it. Danny Ainge blows. He is useless. This guy is literally mentioned in every trade rumor every single season, and they do nothing. They literally absolutely do nothing. All they got today at the trade deadline was Evan Fournier, who I mentioned earlier, a pretty good player, but they were mentioned to get Vucevic. They could have got Drummond. They just get nobody every single year. They literally never improve. It's the worst. Danny Ainge is the worst. The reason why I read this every year. Every single year. Danny Ainge apparently does not go through on his trade offers. He is a very, doesn't tell other teams about injuries. It's the same thing happened with Isaiah Thomas in Cleveland. They knew his hip was bad. They didn't even say a single thing to Cleveland. He is the worst, Danny Ainge. I want him gone off Boston. I think that they stay way too stagnant. They are the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. How the hell are the Boston Celtics the 8th seed? I don't understand it. They have 2 of the top, 15 players, 20 players in the league. There's no other team that's that bad, that has that many good guys. So I don't understand it, man. I think it's terrible. And they also traded Daniel Tice. Why? They literally traded Tice for guys that are way worse. Moritz Wagner and Luke Cornett. Those guys are horrible, terrible players. Why would they have done that? Tice was decent, actually. He was a good center. He was literally what they needed, in my opinion, was a backup center like Tice. And they don't even upgrade from him. They just traded him for what? To stay under the salary cap is what I'm reading? Who gives a shit about staying under the salary cap? You suck, Danny Ainge. You're the reason why they never, ever get better. You're the worst, man. He sucks, honestly, man. Get rid of Danny Ainge out of Boston because they'll never improve. And then the Raptors, I thought were losers as well. I have them on my list here. The Toronto Raptors, I thought for sure were going to move Kyle Lowry. Nothing happened. All we heard was the Heat and the Sixers. I thought for sure he was going to the Sixers at midday today. Nothing happened. They traded Powell, which I thought was a dumb trade. I don't know why they wanted to get rid of him. He was playing good. And then they only got Gary Trent back and I think someone else from the Blazers. But why? Why would you trade Powell when he's finally emerging to a superstar player, it looks like? And then you don't trade Lowry. Lowry's 35 years old. 35. He only has how much years left? What is he going to play for another 2 to 3 years? So I don't understand it personally. I think it was a stupid, foolish move. I thought the Raptors should have traded. And then the Rockets, I mean, my God, they are just the worst too. What did they win their first game in 20 games? Last game or 2 games ago, and they just traded one of their best players again, Oladipo. So pretty much what they got Harden for was nothing. They got absolutely nothing for James Harden. I've never seen anything like it. It was the worst trade ever. It makes no sense. They literally traded Harden for a bag of peanuts because Oladipo was the only thing they got from him, and they just traded him for Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. Those guys are worthless. Terrible. The Rockets are going to suck for so many years because they have no clue what they're doing at all. I can't even believe it. Don't even get me started on that because it just makes no sense. They could have kept LeVert. Why would they have gotten rid of Karis LeVert when they could have kept him? They shipped him to the Pacers. They knew Oladipo was not going to stay there. They literally knew, everybody knew that. He did not want to play for that team. You literally heard all season long he was going to go to the Heat. And what happened? He got traded to the Heat for nothing. So the Rockets are idiots. They clearly want to be the worst team in the league, in my opinion. John Wall, Christian Wood, I feel horrible for you because this team is going to suck for the whole season, if not next season, and so forth. They're going to be terrible. So my 3 losers of the day are the Celtics, Raptors, also the Houston Rockets. They're worthless. The 3 winners, in my opinion, are the Bulls, Nuggets, and you have to throw in a couple other teams. We'll see what happens. The Nets probably will be winners because they'll probably either get Drummond or someone else. And the and the Lakers, if they get whoever gets Drummond is going to make out like bandits. I think he's the second best player besides Vucevic that's going to move. I don't know why people don't look at Andre Drummond as a good player. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a great blocker. Blocks tons of shots. He's a good offensive player, and he rebounds like a maniac. Guy averages like almost 16 rebounds a game. So that's what I think about this free agency. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Kind of just went off on a rant there. How to get that out there. But let's see what you guys think. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. Give me your feedback. We'll see you next time, guys.